What is going on YouTube? Today, I'm going to show you guys how to make 3D animated shorts like this.
Come on, coward. Here I stand.
That way you can use them in your transitions on OBS and your live streams. This is by far the most requested feature you guys have asked me to make. So try to bear with me as we go through it because it can be quite the process. But like always, I'm going to try to cut through everything. Complete transparency, I actually made this video yesterday and it was 2 hours long. So we're going to try a different approach today to try to just condense it down. I'm going to give you guys all the tools you need, and then I will build one myself after I show you the tools. And I'll fast forward to me building it. I won't use anything that I haven't shown you how to do, just how I'm applying that tool may change. And then I'll show you guys the end result. That way you guys can move forward and hopefully have a new skill without sitting here for a 2-hour video. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. I'm going to go ahead and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my Epic Games. Today, we're going to be using our Unreal Engine 5. And you might be thinking, why Unreal Engine 5 instead of Blender? I'm actually just better at Unreal Engine 5 than Blender. I don't feel comfortable teaching you this inside Blender. Also, I think Unreal Engine 5 does a pretty good job at doing this without, getting too lost in the sauce. So if you guys don't know, Unreal Engine 5 is just going to be a game engine. So you're just going to go ahead and install the Epic Game Launcher here, and then you're going to click Unreal inside it and install Unreal Engine. It's going to ask you if you want to download 5.7. That's your current flagship model, but we are actually not going to do that. We're going to install Unreal 5.6. It should be right here in the drop-down menu, which you pick which one you want, or it's going to be inside your library. This plus sign, you could pick different engine models right here. So the reason we're going to step back one flagship model is because 5.7 is so new that a lot of the assets that you can buy or download in all aren't compatible with it. So if we just step back one model, most things are compatible. It'll save you a lot of headaches later on. So go ahead and download that. Once you have it downloaded, you're going to click launch right here or up here, whatever one you want to do. And if it's your first time ever launching these programs or your first time of the day, your computer's turned on, it's going to take a second to load. Don't be alarmed. It'll go faster in the future for the more times you use it. So right now, you're going to probably have just these tabs, probably not recent projects unless you've used this before. Go ahead and click on Game for Me and click blank. Go ahead and ignore everything else up here and everything over here. We're not getting into any of that kind of stuff today. All I need you to do is pick a name for your project. I'm going to do An for animation, and this right here is going to be where it's located and when it's saved. So go ahead and click create. Again, this may take a second as it opens up the world. And just a couple things. So this is going to kind of be a lot. So there's just 5 ways I want to or 5 pillars I want to break this down into for you aren't overwhelmed. So the first thing you need to do is kind of brainstorm an idea you want. A good example would be Peanut was like, I want to do like a car chase scene. So when you think of a car chase scene, what are you in? You're in a city. Okay. So he needs a city environment and he's going to need a couple car models and stuff like that. You don't got to have it all planned out, but just have an idea of where you're going. Right. And then from there, like, okay, we have our brainstorming done. Well, now we know we need an environment. And for that, it would be a city. Okay. We're going to need city. And then we're going to need characters and animations. Okay. We'll get those as well. And then we're going to need cameras to follow and do everything like that. So it looks good. And finally, we're going to need sound design. So those are going to be like the 5 things we're going to try to cover today. I'm going to try to make it as painless as possible for you. All right. So this is Unreal. I don't want you to get overwhelmed by everything you see right here. I'm going to give you a quick down and dirty of what this is, what you're looking at, right? So right above my head here, where my head is, this is called the outliner right here. And this is going to be a list of every single item that is inside this middle window right here. This is just default. This is what it comes with when you first open it. Don't be alarmed. You don't need to know what these things are right now. So this is what it comes with. And then this is what you see, right? This is if you were to build a game or anything, this is where you would do it. And now let's say I wanted to pick this landscape. I can click inside here, or I can come over here and it says landscape right there. Now, if I click it, it highlights it, and I have the gizmo showing me I have the landscape selected. Over here, this is the details tab, and you can see this populated when I clicked on landscape. The best way I can describe this is these are all the options that I can do to the landscape itself, right? So if I come over here, skylight, this is the light in the sky. Again, these change. These are all the options I can do to the skylight itself, right? So I can do like intensity and stuff like that, okay? So just to give you guys an idea of how this layout works. From there, at the bottom, you're going to have your content browser, and this is where we're going to spend most of our time. Now, if yours looks a little different, don't be alarmed. Just hold down control and hit space, and it may be coming up and down like this. This is merely an option they have for you have an additional workspace. You can hide it when you're working, or you can have it docked like mine. I prefer it docked. You click dock to layout right there, and it'll stay just like mine is. But this is an option if you prefer this as well. Down here, this is where you put like files in and out of Unreal, like things coming into Unreal and things coming from the content browser into your scene. So what I mean is, like, if I have a file, I can drop it here and now it's inside Unreal, but it's not in my scene. Then I'd have to take it from here to there. It's kind of the middleman, the manager that manages everything coming and going. And if you right click, you'll have a whole slew of items, but we're not gonna get into all that right now. There's no reason to overwhelm you. Okay. So the first thing we do is I already have an idea of what I want to make, and it's going to be a guard getting scared by a monster. And that monster is going to, I don't know, just kind of jump on him, right? So in my mind, it's going to be a fantasy. So I went ahead and picked this out already, but I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our environment. So go back to the Epic Game Store, Epic Launcher, if it comes up, all right. And then right here on the left-hand side, you can see nothing because my fat head's in the way. Hey, look at that. Let's just drag this all the way down here for now. Right here on the left-hand side, you're going to see Fab, right? So go ahead and click on that, and it's going to open up the Fab. So for you, let me make mine big so you can see. And there's a ton of options here. A lot are paid, a lot are free. It just depends on what you're looking for. Today, we're going to only use only free things. So if we come in here, we go 3D right here. We're going to click on that, and we're going to click on environments. Now, you could scroll through here and look at all these environments you want. These ones all cost money. So at the top, you see price. We're going to click only show free products. Perfect. And now these are all going to be free. And you can, this is an endless scroll. So it'll just keep adding more and more. I truly don't know how many there are. I haven't looked, but you have an idea of how this works. So I actually already went ahead and picked out, this is the one I'm going to want right here. But I just want to show you guys if it was one I've never used. Like, let's say I'm like, oh, I really like this one. If you get an idea, when you click on one, you can kind of click through here like this, you know, like, okay, this is like an abandoned area. Sweet. And like, this is the one I want. So you might be met with a few options here. This says free and then it says license. Well, what the heck? Well, it's not a professional studio. You are an individual creator or small team with not more than 100K in revenue. So click on that and then you can click add to my library and it'll add it to your library. And then from here, it'll say, do you want to add to a project? In which you do, right? So how do you know if it's good for your project? Well, if you see this right here, it says format, that format tab, if you click on that and right here, it'll say all the versions this particular one is made for. And it actually goes to 5.7, which is kind of rare right now. So if it only went to 5.6 and you downloaded 5.7, you wouldn't be able to use this. So like, let's just, I don't know, let's check out this one. Where does this one go to? 5.7. Okay, maybe I'm wrong right now, huh? Oh, 5.6, there we go, right? So if you came in here and I was like, yeah, I want to add this to a project, click add to project, and your project isn't showing up. See how they say 5.6 in the corner? It's because it's incompatible with your version. You have to download another version or you have to get a different asset. So you can go like this, show all projects, and it'll show your project now and it'll be in red. So just to give you an idea of how it works. So the one I want is actually right here, this village right here. And mine has another tab, which is going to be format. And that's because this is compatible with different like engines like Blender and stuff like that. So we're just going to keep it on Unreal and we're going to click add to project. Say what project? The Andy project, which you and I just made, and click add to project. All right. And it's going to be loading down here in the corner for a second. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up that project and look, oh my gosh, my fat head's in the way. Let's just try it up here for a little bit now, huh? Okay, so let me back this up, just redo this part. Okay, so without my fat head in the way, sorry about that. Once you bring it in, there it is right there. You're gonna double click this. There's a lot of stuff in here. Don't let it overwhelm you. What we're going to do is we're just going to go straight into maps here. Like I said, it could be maps or levels. They're interchangeable terms, so don't let that discourage you. Click in there. And once you're inside here, there's going to be a lot more options if you're doing just this one. It could be a ton of things in here. I don't know which pack you picked, right? They're all going to be a little different. It depends who made it, how they set it up. But what I want you looking for is, see how they say level at the bottom? Level, 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 and they're orange. That's the color coordinated system in Unreal. Their levels are always going to be orange, and that's what we're looking for. So now we're looking at the name. We have Map Village Day, Map Village Night, Map Village Overview. So Map Village Overview is going to be every single asset that comes in this pack just lined up nicely so you can see what you got and you can build your own world. We're not going to do that today because there's not a reason to. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use Map Village Night, which I could tell you right now, that's just a save. I'm not sure why it wants me to save, but we'll click save, sure. Okay, maybe we won't save. Let's just double click and it don't save. What happens then? All right. So Map Village Night, this is going to be like a demo. They basically set up like, hey, this is our map and what it could look like, right? So they put the whole map together, right? And this is all we need is the demo because we're not going to be using most of it because these scenes, the way they're set up is you're going to control what the camera sees. So this is awesome. I think this is actually really well designed. Whoever made this, kudos to that person. And the only weird thing is I don't know why this is here. It says click for URL. My head's in the way, but it says click for URL in the corner there. I don't know why. So we're just going to highlight it like I did, and we're going to hit delete on it. So highlight, oops, that's the down arrow, not the delete arrow. There we go. Okay, so Cool, that's gone now. I just don't want it on my scene. Real quick, I know I went over how to move, but these gizmos, in case you guys don't know how to use these, W is going to get you this one right here, which allows you to pull things up and down. E is going to make you rotate it, and R is going to make it scale real quick. All right, so just so you guys know, Control Z to undo, Control Y to redo, which is a little different. So cool, we got our map. I know this is the area I want to use. So we got our brainstorm, we got our map. Now we need to get our characters, right? So I like to kind of do everything in batches. That's just kind of who I am. So I know I'm going to want characters. So we're going to make a new folder called characters off the content drawer, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and open characters up, and let's go ahead and download a character. So to do characters, I'm going to actually use Mixamo today. So this is Mixamo. Let me show you here. If you guys have never seen Mixamo, you'll end up at a screen like this. It's made by Adobe. You're probably gonna have to make an account. It should be free. It's not a big deal. And then from there, you can go browse characters. And there's a couple pages of characters here of different characters you could pick from. And all these characters come with animations that you get to pick out. Now, if you are like, well, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to use my mascot in my scene. I totally understand that. I don't know what mascot you have, so we're just going to cover some general things real quick. We'll use my coffee cup as an example. If you are an inanimate object such as Peanut, and I'll put it on the screen somewhere, if you ever notice in like his car scene, the Peanut itself isn't animated. It just slides across the ground. It's not moving. It's not walking. It's physically just sliding. And if you're an inanimate object like he is, I highly suggest that's the route you go because it's much easier and most people don't notice. And then the parts that are moving, like the car and all that stuff that's all been animated, he got them from like a fab store. So just so you guys have an idea of ways to do that where no one's really going to notice. Or a better example, I don't know if it's better. Another example though is the witch, when his witch is flying across and you could see like the tower in the background. The cape is moving and animated. The Peanut is not. So if you're an object like that, you should definitely go that route. In fact, I'll put a time link right or a timestamp right here so that way you can see how to do that and you don't need to do this part. Now, if you are a character that has legs and could walk or move and you're like, no, I want to use my character. Here we go. Okay, so what you can do is you can click upload in the corner that my face is currently blocking. I'm about to move it 1,000 times. Upload right here in the corner. So what this will allow you to do is upload your FBX of your custom character. So you click upload character file and you can find your character file and you can try to upload it and Mixamo will ask you, do you want us to rig? And you click yes and it's pretty straightforward. You can follow the prompts and it'll rig it for you. Now with that said, there's a good chance it's going to tell you rig failed or not compatible or some kind of doesn't work message, right? And at that point, you're kind of screwed, to be honest with you, because now you're going to have to build your own custom rig inside Blender and do your own custom animations. That's not something we're going to cover in this video because, and I don't mean this rudely, I don't think a lot of people understand quite what they're asking when they're asking me to do that. Well, can you show me to do that? Well, I need you to understand there's a whole profession around that field for a reason, and I can do it to a very, very beginner level. I can make walk animations and stuff, but nothing too crazy. And it would take me 3 or 4 hours in a video to try to show you how to do that. So we're not going to do that today. That's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of the video is to show you how to animate and move cameras and do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this character right here, which I just got off this list. I don't know where he is. He's somewhere down here, right here. Castle Guard 1. That's what we're going to use right there. So let's just keep moving forward. Castle Guard 1 is going to be our character for this demonstration. And we're going to go download and we want him in the T-pose and we want the FBX. Perfect. Click download on that. Apparently it's a big download. All right, there it goes right there. Once we have our character downloaded, now we can get the animations we're going to need. So like I said, I already know, I have an idea what I want. I understand you guys probably don't. So this is going to be a little bit of a learning curve for you. You have to start thinking, what animations do I want? There's going to be a ton of animations. I will say this, less is more. Get to know them before you just download an absolute ton of them and overwhelm yourself. All right. So I know I'm going to need a walking animation. This looks fine. Look at, he's walking. That's perfect. Couple keys real quick. It's moving. You don't want this. You actually want him to walk in place. So we're going to click in place and see how he's at. That's what we want for this the entire time, right? Up here in the corner, you have a couple controls here. This is going to total frames, how many frames you want. It's going to give me 32 frames, character arm space, and overdrive. So overdrive is going to be how fast he's moving. See how he's walking faster now. Or if you want to walk slower, I'm just clicking reset. Arm space is going to start lifting his arms up, which we actually need to do. If you see his thumb is clipping right there. So this is a good candidate to show you how you actually use this. Just pull it up some and there we go. Now it's not running into his thigh anymore. That's perfect. So for this animation, we're going to click download. FBX is right. 30 frames is fine. That's what we're going to be working at by default inside Unity, or I'm sorry, inside Unreal. We don't need any keyframe reduction. Big change here is without skin. We just got the skin we're going to use on the last download, so we don't need a skin here. So go ahead and click download on that. And for me, I'm going to end up getting 3 real quick here. I'm going to want an idle, and I'm going to want to terrify, right? So let's go ahead and do this. Let's grab this idle real quick. I'm fine with that. I'm just kind of going fast here for the time's sake. I talked you through the first one. I don't think you guys need to know how to do all these. It's the same process. And finally, we'll go scared, terrified here, and we're going to go download. Okay, yep, perfect. Download on terrified. Okay, download. Perfect. Now that we have our 3 animations that this character is going to use, we're going to go back into Unreal Engine, and I'm going to show you guys how to kind of bring them in. So we're going to go back to the content drawer. I like to try to keep this tidy, so you're going to see me closing these a lot, because if you leave this open and start clicking, it can get just overwhelming quick. So I like to tidy it up, bring them all back. So content is always the main top one. So we'll go to content, we create a character, we're going to go into character, and this character is going to be our guard, right? We named him, his name was Castle Guard, so we're going to call this guard. Let's go inside guard, and you can see it's empty. So in order to import, you have a few options. You can click import right here. You can go to file up here. You can click import. Personally, I'm always a drag and drop guy, so I'm just going to end up dragging and dropping them in. So I'm going to go to downloads, I know what it is. And I remember his name was Castle Guard 1. I'm actually going to rename this to just guard, because the name of this file is what I'm going to have to remember throughout this process. So I know he will be guard the whole time. So I'm going to drag that in right here. When you drag it in, let me minimize this. You're going to be met with this window right here. You don't need to change anything in this window. Default is fine. If you're like, oh crap, I accidentally clicked something and I don't know what I clicked, just reset, use the defaults. All right, that's all you got to do. So go ahead and click import. It's going to bring in all this stuff right here. So just real quick, you don't got to worry about all of it at all, but just so you can see, they all have names and stuff. You're gonna have 3 different textures. These textures together are going on this material. This material is going on the skeleton. This is for animation. That's a bunch of stuff. All I want you to worry about is the pink one. Again, it's color labeled, which is very nice. Pink, and it says skeleton mesh at the bottom. That's the one we want. All right. So if I were to come over here and I were to grab the skeleton mesh, I'm going to click, and I'm just going to drag him up into my scene. And there he is in the T-pose, exactly how we downloaded him. That's what we are looking for. Awesome. Now, from here, we want animations for him as well. I think we can agree with that. So I'm going to go back to character. I'm going to make another file called animations. All right. And we're going to go inside animations this time and see it's blank. Again, we're going to click and drag in. And this time I'm going to grab all 3 of those animations that I downloaded. We don't need the guard because that's the physical body, and we already downloaded. That's what with skin did. It gave us a physical body. So go ahead and drag these 3 in. Again, we're met with this window, but this time we are going to change something. Only one thing though. So right here at the top, it says animations. Click on that tab for me. And right at the top of animations, you're going to see skeleton right there. And then skeleton, none. So what you're going to do is you're going to go inside here in this drop down, and you can search through all these if you want, because I don't know what yours are going to show. It depends what environment you picked. So mine actually doesn't have a ton, which is kind of nice. I can see him right there, guard_skeleton. So if I wasn't sure though, I know his name is guard. If I couldn't see him, I can start typing guard, and it'll eliminate everything to the ones that just say guard. So this is the one I want. When you click it, you see it auto jump me back to all. I always like to go back to animation, just double check. Yep, it's right. It no longer says none. That's him. It's a little picture plus that. Perfect. And I'm going to click import, and it's going to import all 3 of these. And as you can see, there's our animations, and it's showing a picture of our mesh of the guard. Sorry, the dogs are going crazy. So that is right. And then right here, this little asterisk, that means it's not saved, if you ever see that. So if you hit Control-Shift-S, it's going to save everything, and those are going to go away. I can't recommend that enough inside Unreal, because Unreal is notorious for crashing. So please remember to save so you're not doing work that you have to redo twice. Now we have our one character in and our animations in. So like I said, I like to move all the characters in. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them all in right now, and then we'll make them move. Okay. So just to show you guys another way to do this, or another option instead of just going through Mixamo, I'm actually going to get my other characters from the Fab Store. So if you go back into the Fab Store, which this is remind us that we're still on environments. I actually don't want environments. I want characters, right? Now, let's say you're like, no, I want cars and stuff like that. Well, they have that. It's down here. It's under vehicles, right? So there's tons and tons of options. It's just whatever you're trying to make, that's up to you. You know, it's your creative freedom. So we're going to go characters, and we're going to go price, and we're going to click show only free products again. So all these characters are going to be free. Again, it's going to be an endless scroll of characters. I don't know which ones are going to be rigged, which ones aren't going to be rigged. That's going to come down to the details of that character. Now, what I am going to use for this though is something that's pretty cool. If you notice here, a lot of these, they saved a library in green. And if you notice, it's all Paragon. So the reason all these Paragon ones are saved to my computer already is Paragon was a AAA game that Epic Games made, and when it failed, or whenever, however you want to say it, they stopped supporting it and took it offline. They gave all the assets from it away for free, with the only rule being is you can use them, but you can't say you're making a Paragon game, which is pretty cool of them to do. So I thought it would be cool if we used a couple of these, because I know they're going to have animations and a bunch of other stuff because they're made by a AAA team, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to end up using Paragon Greystone here, and we're also going to use Paragon Rampage, which I'm not sure where he is, but in order to move these guys, all you would do is, let me just grab a random one. Let's just say I wanted to use this, right? You're going to click buy now, right? Maybe personal, buy now, add to library. And when you click add to library, you can click right here, add to your project. Another way to add it to your project, if it's already in your library, is you can go Unreal Engine right here, let it load, and then this library right here, not this library. This library is just going to be video games, right? So we're going to go back to Unreal library, and down here, this is your fab library, different things. Essentially, these are bookmarks. They're not on your computer yet. And the reason I'm bringing that up is when you add these two projects, it will download it to your computer, and some of these can be pretty big files. So this one right here is what I'm going to use, Rampage. He's already on my computer because I downloaded it at a time, but he's 3.5 gigabytes. So that's just a heads up, like what you'd be downloading once you click add to project, right? So I'm going to click add project here, and I want to add them. So I'm going to go animation, same thing, whoop, and click add project. And you can see it's going to verify since he's already downloaded. This would say downloading if he wasn't already downloaded. Now let's say I am done with him. I don't want to use him anymore. This little drop arrow is no longer gray. You can say remove local content to reclaim those 3.5 gigabytes. So now Rampage is in my project. I could do the same thing with the other guy I want to use from here, but I'll just show you another way real quick. So it doesn't much matter. I'm going to go back to the Fab Store, and this is out of order. I should have done this one first, then went to Rampage, but that's all right. We're going to scroll down here to there's Rampage. That's one I was like, oh, I wonder where Rampage is. I can't find him. But this time we're going to use Greystone here, right? Cool. Greystone looks good. I want to add him to my project just like before, same as before. Click this, add project. And that is now going to download into my project just like he did. Two different ways to accomplish the same goal. Cool. Now from here, what we're going to do is we're going to bring up our project, and you're going to see, if I go back to content drawer, there they are. Paragon Greystone, Paragon Rampage. Now, the reason I did it this way is because unlike our character, which just has some animations, some textures right here, and then some animations that we did, if I open up Rampage, he's going to have a ton of stuff. He's a fully completed game asset for a AAA game. So he's going to have FXXs, textures, sounds, particles for all this kinds of stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of show you guys how to weave through the clutter, right? So we go Rampage. I want his character because I want to get to this. This is what I'm ultimately looking for, right? So, okay, heroes, he's going to be a hero. Rampage. I don't want animations. I don't want no materials. I don't want random skins and sounds and textures. I do want a mesh because this is a mesh. So I'm going to click on meshes, and sure enough, Rampage skeletal mesh is right there. So now I'd be able to, again, it's pink. It says skeletal mesh. I'd be able to click and drag this into my scene just like the other one. Give it a second to load, and there he is. He just loaded in, and he's now inside my scene. Now, say I wanted to animate him. Well, he comes with a ton of animations because it's made for a AAA title. So I'm just gonna, instead of using this window right here and trying to back out, I'm gonna use my mouse. I'm just gonna go back one page here, and then remember we went into message. Well, right here is animations. We're gonna need that. So if we open animations, look at all these animations. It's a ridiculous amount, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know which one. It's overwhelming. Well, I'm going to show you guys how to kind of look through these real quick before we start. You can just click on any of them. I don't know. Let's just click on hit react front, right? Okay, let's bring this where it's supposed to go. I actually don't like when things open that way. So just real quick side quest. I'm going to go into edit, editor preferences. And then under appearance, which I'm already on, I'm going to come down to where it says default right here, editor, access editor, open location. Click this, and I'm going to go to last docked main window. All right. And what that does is now if I double click something to open it, like exit this, it'll dock it right there. I'm not sure why that's not the default setting, but that's how I like it. So anyways, all right. So this is the animation, right? It gives you this list that my head is currently blocking because it keeps blocking everything. This list right here of all the animation he has, and you can just start going through them to see what they do, right? Oh, okay, that one makes him run, sprinting, this is a run forward, whatever the animation may be, that's what this is for. So that's kind of how it works, right? One more thing I just want to note is some animations, just so you guys know, like let's say a jump animation is a great example, is actually a 3-part animation. So reason I bring that up is like, if you'll notice, if I click jump start here, he's just kind of boom, boom. So what you do is you do the jump start, jump middle, jump end. So that would be the beginning of it. This would be the middle of it. And this should just be him hovering in the air. Oh no, it's going to be, there's into more pieces even. Okay, so let's go fall then. See how he's falling? He's never touching the ground. That's the center. So jump start, in this case, jump fall, and then there's going to be a jump end, which is right here. And that's him coming to the ground. So you need to line those up, and you'll see, we'll do that. But just to give you an idea of, if you're not overwhelmed, if you get an asset like this with a ton of animations, right? So cool, we got him. We know we're going to want him. And we're just going to go ahead, see how this is already getting out of control. We're going to collapse these all back down, just like I said before, because it can get a little overwhelming. And now we're back just to 4, right? Greystone, I want to make sure he looks good too. Again, I'm going to go into characters. He's a hero, Greystone, and I want his mesh. And there it is, skeletal mesh. Let's drag him in as well. Cool. Yep, it looks like he's working just fine. So great. Let's go back to content. And this time I'm going to hit H with him selected. That's going to hide him off my screen. I'm going to hit H with him selected. That's going to hide him off my screen. If I ever want them back, I'm going to hit Control H and it unhides everything. We did brainstorming. We got our level. We have our characters in. We need to animate these characters. All right, so let's make a move, right? So now what we're going to do, we're going to start with this guy here. And I already know I want him to go out that door, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to right click in here. We're going to get a level sequence, which is right here. You can name this anything you want. I don't care what you're naming like templates are. I'm going to do action 1, right? And I'm going to double click action 1 and it's going to open this timeline down here. So this is a timeline you'd find in Premiere Pro, After Effects, DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut, any kind of video editing software. This is the same kind of timeline. Just a quick rundown of how this works. This right here is what frame you're on. This green to this red bar is what is going to, what is going to get rendered. So you can click and drag and slide it if you don't want everything rendered. If you need more space, you're like, hey, this, 150 frames isn't enough. You click right down here and you type in, let's type in 500. You notice this got smaller, so now you can drag this out and now you get 500. You can also drag this in to zoom in and get really technical about stuff. So this, so you go, that's how you add it. And let's say you're down here again, you just drag this to add more there. And that's pretty straightforward. Things you want are going to be put here. And then this right here is auto keying. If you're into auto keying, I personally like auto keying, so I'm going to push that on. And what that means is if I move the character, it'll put a keyframe where he's going. So I actually like auto keying quite a bit. And then other than that, the only other thing is this arrow right here is no looping. You click this, it'll loop. And what that means is, I'll show you what that means. We'll keep it on no looping for now. So that's kind of the rundown of how this works. So what I want you guys to do right now is I want to make sure you have your character highlighted just like this. And you're going to click the add button down here in the corner. When you click add, you're going to go up to add actor track. Now you have a couple options. You can search guard. Remember, we got to remember the name and it'll come up right there. But since we already have him selected, he's going to be right here at the top. So we're going to click add guard. And when you click add guard, you add them there and you get a couple options, animations and transform. And transform is going to have your, rotation, scale, and rotation, scale, and location, which is pretty standard stuff. And if you are just coming in with the inanimate object, we were talking about if you have an inanimate object, this part's for you. So if you have an inanimate object, you just need it to glide. All you're going to do, it's very straightforward, is you're going to transform location. He's here. Now, if you see when I clicked this right here, that's your keyframe. It added a little dot underneath everything, that little dot right there. Now let's say I just want him to glide the doors all the way up there. So, all right. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to move this forward to where we want it to happen at. Let's say I want it to happen at frame 90. I want him. So that's at frame 90. Now I move him, boop. And it automatically populated the keyframe because I have auto framing on. If not, I would just click this again and it would give me the keyframes. All right. So cool. Now if we come back to here, right? Back to the start of our animation, click down here, not inside the viewport, but down here on this little timeline, and you hit spacebar. There he goes. That's it. It's very simple, just like that. So just like, and boop. And now the reason I say click down there, if I'm clicked in here and I hit spacebar, it won't play. So you have to be clicked somewhere down here for it to play. All right. So if you just want to glide around, that's all you got to do. That and add a camera, which we'll do in a few minutes, and you're good to go. So let's go ahead and delete that for now. Let's get into what the rest of us are probably going to end up doing. And like I said, I'm going to show you how to do this character. Then I'm going to end up fast forwarding through creating the entire thing because I'm not going to use any additional techniques. Every technique is going to happen on this character, and that way you're not sitting here for 3 hours while I make a full scene. If I used anything else, I'll make a note of it and place it right here with a cut. But I don't think that's going to happen. All right, so I want this guy to kind of walk this door, right? Actually, I already know he's too far away. I don't want him to start right here, so I'm going to drag him forward. I want him to be about right there. That looks like a good starting point for me. And I want to use a walk animation. So we're going to go to animations right here, and you see that little plus sign? We're going to click on the plus sign, and here are the animations we downloaded from Mixamo. and we brought in, right? So cool, walking's the one I want. And if I hit play right now, you'll see he kind of walks in place. He's a little low, his legs are on the ground. That's actually not too big of a deal. Let's go back to 0, 0. And we're just gonna hit this and we're gonna bring him up. Real quick, while I'm bringing him up, this is a great example to show you guys. See how his foot is still on the ground right there? If I bring him up to, now it's out of the ground, now it's a little bit in the ground. If you're running into this issue where like it's just snapping too far, that's what these are up here. This one specifically is snapping by 10 right now. If I drop it to 1, now it'll just let me slide it real quick. This one controls how much it snaps in rotation, and this one controls how much it snaps on scale. And they all have different options you can play around if needed, right? So, okay, cool. He looks to be walking on the ground right there, or close enough. We control the camera anyway, so nobody would know. So, okay, we're going to start right there. And if you see, if we go like this real quick, he's going to walk and he just walks in place, right? That's all he's going to do. Walk in place. Cool. And if you want this to loop, like I want it to loop, see this arrow down here, as we talked about, click on this. Now, when it walks, it'll just keep replaying that animation. It'll just keep walking in place, right? Now, I want him to move further than that, obviously. So what we're going to do is we're going to click this. We're going to drag it out. And then to make this a longer animation, all you're going to do is mouse over and see how it turns blue right there? Perfect. We're going to drag it out. It's really that simple. And now he's just going to keep walking forever before it loops again. The only thing I want you to note is you see these checkered lines right here, or dotted, a little perforated line. That's letting you know that's where the animation is restarting at. And it doesn't matter for this, but it does matter for other animations, such as the jump start, because it won't be fluid, all right? So that's that for you guys. And now what we're going to do is we're essentially going to use the transform and try to slide him at the same pace that he would be walking. So we're going to start here, as we said, and we're going to put a mark right there. I click transform, right? And I want him to walk to, let's say, right out here. So let's say about 120 frames. I want it to be here. And that's it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click play and we're going to see a couple things. If it looks like he's moonwalking, like his feet are moving, but he's not physically covering enough distance, it is too long. Like this line down here is physically too long. You need to back it up, right? Now, that makes it go faster. Now, let's say he's like gliding across the ground. It doesn't look like he's walking. It's happening too fast. You need to stretch it out. All right. So let's go ahead and hit play. So see how he's gliding? It's off tempo. So what that tells me is he's covering the distance too fast for his walking tempo. So we need to make this longer. So we're going to pull that out to there. All right. Still a little bit of glidiness. And there's something else I'm noticing. So we're actually just going to start from right here to be in the middle. And truly, I think I'm okay with that just for the example, right? The only thing I want to cover is I want you to watch the beginning of this walk. He kind of like does this weird like in walk place before it starts going. See? Now, that could be very frustrating if you don't know what the cause is. See how he just kind of steps like, what the heck? He should be moving. I'm going to show you what's causing that right now because it's the default setting. So what's causing that? It's an easy in, easy out. These animations default to that for some reason. That's just how it's designed. So what you need to do is we're going to go ahead and click on whatever walk right here. But you see this right here, this little graph. It's a graph editor, curve editor, as they call it. You're going to open that and you're going to click on the guard. Once you click on the guard, those dogs are going crazy. I don't know if you guys can hear them or not. Once you click on the guard, you see this green line, how it's not straight, it curves. That's not what we want. So we're going to go ahead and click on this like that, highlight them both, and you're just going to hit 4 on your keyboard, and it snaps it straight. That's it. Now, when we exit that, and we're going to go ahead and hit this, just like that, he's going to walk perfectly straight. Awesome. Cool. That's exactly what we're looking for. Everything looks much, much better now. So the issue we're running in there, see how he kind of like T-poses? It's because the animation is ending and he's still gliding because that's his end point, right? So now it'll look more normal. See, it's just restarting right there. All right, perfect. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to bring this, we're going to extend this out. And what I want him to do is I want him to stop and I want him to kind of go into an idle animation, like he's just standing still. So instead of going to a T-pose, we want to idle. We're going to go back in animation here and we're going to click idle 2, right? So I want to show you guys something. If I just leave it like this, it just, see how it snaps? See how he snaps to idle 2? That doesn't look good at all. Boom. It's not fluid. We want it to be smooth. We want it to look good. So that's actually really easy to do. All you're going to do is you're going to take these and you're going to drag them over each other and you'll get this X. Look, I'll drag it really far. You can see that X right there? That is going to be the blending of the two. And this is where you're just going to have to play with it till it looks right. Like this will look like he's sliding. See, that's too much. So you're going to start playing with it a little bit to see how it looks right. That's too much of a snap. So let's drag this one maybe about right there. But let's actually bring the walk. This is going to be the walk one. The walk in this way a little bit. See how that looks, right? So we're just going to walk. That looks pretty good. Like if you didn't watch me do that, you wouldn't see that little drag, not in real time. You just be like, oh, so that's exactly how we're going to leave it, right? So I want him to go from here to here, and then eventually he's going to get terrified, but that'll be later on, and it'll be the same process to do this, right? So cool, we have our animations now. We have him walking, we have him switching to an idle animation when he's done walking. We're going to drag this and make it longer. That way it doesn't T-pose on us. And you can see, yep, he's just going to boom. He's just hanging out, and now he's in an idle animation. Cool. Only thing I want to check here is his little feet. I should have done it beforehand, but his feet look like they're in the ground at the end. So we're just going to pull on this and see where they're in the ground at. Not in the ground. Not really in the ground. Is it just at the end they're in the ground? It might just be, oh, no, they're in the ground a little bit right here. Oh yeah, we got to fix that. So we're just going to go like this. We click on them, hit W to bring this up to right there. And that is it, because we have auto key on, so it'll automatically keyform. And that should be good enough to fix it all the way through it. I'm just going to scrub it real quick here. Yeah, he looks fine. Cool. That's it. Now he's not in the ground anymore. That's exactly what we were looking for. The dogs are crazy right now. All right, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to check on my dogs, and then we'll continue. All right, sorry about that. There was a snowplow going by, which is obviously not acceptable. So we have our characters in, we have our animation, we have our environment in, and we know what we're trying to make. So we're going to go ahead and move forward with cameras now. So cameras are going to be pretty straightforward, actually more straightforward than a lot of people realize. So I'll just make them and give you guys an idea. Like in my thought process, it's like, hey, this is how it's going to start. He's going to come out like this, right? So let's go right here. Let's just say he's here and he's just walking away just like that. Okay, so we're going to have the first one go to about frame, let's say 60, 70, let's do 75, right? 0 to 75 will be our first camera. No big deal. I just like to get an idea of what I'm doing, right? So now I'm going to go back to 0 here. And what I'm going to do with cameras is you're going to come up here to this green plus sign with a little cube. Click on that, and then once you click on that, you're gonna have a drop-down menu, and then your head's gonna be in the way again. So you're gonna move your head out of the way for the 1,000th time. All right, so you're gonna click on that, and you're gonna go cinematic right here, and then from cinematic, you're gonna go camera actor. Click on that right there, and what that's going to do is give you this box you can see, and then another item that's behind my head. So let's try my head up here now. Perfect. All right. So Sin camera actor, it's right here inside of outliner, and it gave us this little view. So right away, what I like to do is hit F2 while I have it selected, for I can rename it. And the reason I like to do that, I'm gonna name mine Cam 1, is because let's say I'm doing other things and I lose it, I can always come up here and type in Cam 1 and I'll find it again. That way I know exactly where it is. You can double click it, it goes inside the scene or whatever the case would be. So we're going to take cam 1. Let me go back to here so you don't have to do all that. We're going to take cam 1 and we're going to drag it down into our sequencer. And I want to show you what happens. So when I drag this down, watch my main screen. It snaps to a different view. So what you're looking at now is physically through camera 1. So when I move around, like I shift around, I go zooming all around this world, I am physically the camera. I am deciding where it'll be. That's why the little preview went away, because you are the whole thing. And a good way to know this is if you see right here down in the corner, it shows it blue. This means I am controlling that camera. This right here, camera 1, also tells you you're controlling that camera, not your perspective camera, right? So if I uncheck this, cool, we're now off that camera, and you can see it sitting right there. If I check it, I am now controlling camera 1 again. And I actually like this position for camera 1 because I just want this guy to kind of walk out to like about right, well, maybe about right here. Maybe we'll do 90 frames. 90 frames looks all right. So that's kind of what we're going to use camera 1 for, right? So cool, it's going to go to about right there. Let's do 90. Cool, that'll work. So I just like to take this and bring it down to 90. That way it's just easier. You know, you don't have to do that, but it just makes life easier. Cool. Now I want him to be the focus, and there's a couple ways you can do that. I'm going to show you 2 ways right now. With camera 1, you can have these, transform tool, but you also have this aperture length, focal, like you can zoom in, right? You can do this aperture, how blurry it is. But mainly I want you to look at is manual focus, right? So when I have manual focus, click, see how it gives you this? I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and if I drag to the left, it'll bring it down, and drag to the right, it'll bring it up. So the reason you would drag to the left is for a close shot. If he's getting very close to the camera, I'll show you real quick. Let's say I wanted him to be like, first off, it might help if I get on him, right? Let's say I want him to be in focus right here, right? So I would have to drag to the left. And see right there. See how now he's in focus? That's what that's for. And if I wanted like him to be in focus when I'm further away, I would drag over to the right and see how he's out of focus, but that is back there. So now he'd be in focus back here, just so you guys understand how it works. So let me go ahead and put him in place. I actually want him about right here. And I don't think he's too out of focus right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of leave it how it is. Let's just, I don't even know what default is. I think default's like 1,000. right? I truly don't know, but it doesn't look too bad right there. So we're going to leave it just like that for this part, right? So now it's just going to walk out just like that. I'm not sure I like that angle too much. Let's just bring it, these little things. Don't get too lost in the sauce, but yeah, there we go. I do like that. Cool. So now to move around and move on with my day, I need to make sure I uncheck this blue box. So if I move right now, again, I'm moving the camera. So uncheck the blue box. Cool, the camera's still right there. Now we can move around. Now I want it to switch to another camera, right? I want this to be a cool little view. So I think the other camera is going to be somewhere out here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, backed up here to the green plus sign, come down to cinematic, go down to sim camera actor again, rename it Cam 2. All right, there's our view for Cam 2, and we're going to drag it in down here just like before. I'm going to close this just to save, collapse it down, get some room, and there's Cam 2. I'm on the blue, and this is Snap telling me, hey, you're now controlling the camera again. So now, it's funny, I just grabbed my hair. So now we're going to come, and I was thinking, I want this guy, what do I want it at? About right here. Let's just go ahead and start right here. Let's see how this looks. Let's say we want it right about there, okay? Now, I'm going to show you some other things. Actually, let's do it like this, right? Maybe we want it like this. I want it to track him as he walks the rest of the way out. That's what we're looking for this to do. And instead of using transform and manual, I'm going to show you a much faster way. So what we're going to do is yours probably looks something like this with all these closed down. You're going to go to look at tracking settings. That's going to be over here under your details camera while you have camera 2 highlighted here and up here. Let you know, hey, you're on camera 2. You can't see that part. Hold on. My head's in the way for 1,000th time. Right there, it says camera 2. Down here, it's highlighted. You're on camera 2, right? So we're going to come down, look at tracking settings, open this up. Once we're inside here, we're going to actor to track none. You can search your guy by his name if you want. Guard is his name because we named him something we remember. But if you don't remember, you can also just use the eyedropper right here. Click that and then see how it says pick guard. I can pick the fence or whatever, but we want the guard. So boom, that tells it to track this. So now that guard's here, when I enable this, it's going to stay on him. But watch what happens. I click this, snaps to his feet. It'll automatically snap to the feet when you tell it to do that. In order to fix it, you're going to do an offset. So in this case, we just want an offset for the Z-axis, which is up and down. So 150 isn't quite, or 150 is not quite high enough. About 175 is where we want to be. So that now the next issue is going to be the focus. And I showed you we could come in here and manually focus, drag it way down to get it right. But there's a much easier way, and that is going to be right here, focus settings. So if we open focus settings, see where it says focus, mesh, and manual, we're going to change this to tracking. Once you click tracking, you get the same options as up here. Again, click the eyedropper, click on him. And now he's going to stay in focus the entire time we move. So for camera 2, we're going to start here, and it's going to go to about right there, right? And I think that's pretty good, right? I have no issues with that. So cool, I like that quite a bit. So what we're gonna do right here is like, all right, I want camera 2 to be the next camera. And you can see this says camera 1 in the corner and it's short because we shortened it down. What we're gonna do is you're gonna click on camera cuts. See this plus sign? We're going to click camera 2. Now, what's important to notice is wherever I click camera 2, wherever this indicator is, it's at frame 90. To the right of it, it's going to add camera 2. It doesn't matter if something's there. So if I'm back here and I click it right here, it's going to make camera 2 override camera 1. So get it where you want it. I want camera 2 to start at frame 90, camera 2, and boom, there it is. Cool. So now if I unclick this one, right, now we're just in perspective mode. What we can do is we can click on this camera, which is going to be all the cameras together. Go back to frame 0 and see what kind of animation we got. Who's going to walk out? It's going to switch. And I'm actually pretty good with that. Now, the only thing I'm going to change just to show you some other options real quick is cameras can also move if you need to pan and stuff. So I actually don't like that you can see that camera. See how you can see it? Let's see. Boom. So it disappears when it starts, but I don't like that at all. I just don't want to ever risk that. So what you can do is just come out, click on it, and hit H. It'll still work. It's just not visible now. So that's all you can do to do that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to uncheck this so we can move around real quick. What I actually want to do is I want to change camera 2 a little bit. And I'm looking, I'm happy. And let's see. What I want to do is I want to see more of this hill when he stops. So let's say about right here, I'm going to come down to the camera transform. And I'm going to go, the location of this camera is good. I'm going to add a keyframe. And then by here, let's say down here, I actually want it to be more about right there, for I can see that I don't need to see too much of the hill, but maybe like that amount. So we'll see how that looks. Let's see, he's walking. So that doesn't feel good, right? Like it's too aggressive of a snap. So what we're gonna do to fix that is we're gonna highlight this first one. We're gonna drag it back so the camera starts moving while he's moving and it's still tracking. So it's a more natural pan around. See how it already feels a little bit better? It still feels a little off to me, to be honest with you. So he's going to stop moving. Where's he stop moving at? Boom, right there. And the camera's still completing around. So we're going to actually back it up just a little bit. So I think that'll work much better. So now if we watch the entire thing, uncheck this. Let's check it one more time. We're walking out. We're going to switch cameras. Boom. And we have him coming out like that. And it's going to stop right there. Now, that is all the methods we're going to use for this animation. I'm going to go ahead and create a full thing, and I'm going to just do it at 1,000 times speed, but I'm not going to use any other techniques. I'm just going to use these same techniques in different ways to show you what you can make with just this like little bit of knowledge. All right. And that's what you're going to already seen at the beginning of this video. So we have cameras, we have our brainstormed, we have our environment, we have our characters, we have our animations, we have our cameras, and now we need sound. So sound's going to be the last one. You can get your sounds wherever you want. Just to show you guys how sound works, because sound is very important. It adds life to these scenes. I'm going to show you how to add sound, but I'm only going to add sounds that are already in this project. The reason my project has sounds and yours may not have sounds is because I downloaded those AAA assets and they come with sound effects. Otherwise, you can get them off the internet, wherever source you want to do. Go ahead and download whatever sound you're looking. So like I don't have a sound for this guy, so I'm going to go online and look for like armor clanking as soldier walks and try to get that sound effect and place it in. So in order to place sound effects in this, there's a few ways you can do it. I'm going to show you two, then I'm going to show you how to render out, then I'm going to make the whole thing and we're done with this video. All right. So first, we're going to go add right here in the corner. Once we click add, this time we're going to add an audio track, right? And it's going to either put it here or you're going to get a prompt saying, do you want to switch to, I can't remember what it's called, a like mic form or whatever. Just click yes. It's not a big deal. But once you get this, you can now click the plus sign and you can see all the audio tracks that are inside your project right now. So let's just do Greystone Victory. I don't even know status Victory 50 because that's the character, one of the characters you brought in, right? And as you can see, it's right there and you can just slide it.
I have achieved the power of the Asher. My true reign will begin.
Perfect. So all we're going to do is just slide it. Like maybe I don't want it to start to all the way down here.
I have achieved the power of
and that's all you're going to do. And you're just going to make it and slide it and make it as big as you want. Like I actually don't want any of that. I just want this part of it. And I want to start right here. And that's it. That's the whole equation to doing these. And of course you have some stuff in here, how pitch you want to make it loud, like squeakier. Like that's all in here. If you want to make it louder, all that kind of stuff. Do you want it attached to a certain camera? Things like that are all in here. And that's all you have to do to add audio. I'm going to show you one other way to add audio, which isn't needed for this, but it is something good to know. So let me delete this real quick. And what we're going to do, I'm going to delete this whole audio track for now. We're actually going to get outside of the level sequence here, and we're going to go back to the content browser for this. But first, I want to make sure I check this off, because if I were to go here and start moving around, I'm still going to mess up my camera. So let's go here, make this checked off. Cool. Now we know we're safe. We're going to go back to the content browser, and this is another way to add sound. And you would use this if you want the sound cue to hit perfectly at a certain point inside an animation. So you don't necessarily need it for what we're doing today, but maybe you are very particular and you just want to do it this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Rampage, right? Let's say I go inside Rampage here, characters, heroes. I'm trying to look for his animation tabs. All right. So remember all these animations we had? It's a lot. So let's just pick one. I'm looking for like an emote or something to kind of give you an idea here. Master Roar 3. That looks great. So that doesn't look great. Let's do a swing maybe. Oh, there we go. It just wasn't auto playing. Okay. So let's check out Master Roar 3 again. All right. Perfect. It looks cool. It probably would have a cool sound, right? So this is what we're going to do. First, I don't want us to get overwhelmed. So let's go ahead and just minimize those curves. We don't need to see all that, right? See where it says notify here and then audio. Yours may say audio. It may say nothing. This might just not exist, right? What you're going to do is see, I can click on any of these and hit track and insert notify track. So I'll make a new one. It says audio, right there. And once I have this highlighted, I can come over here, right click, add notify, and see where it says play sound. We're going to click play sound, and wherever you put this at, that is where the sound will start playing. So let's say like, cool, I want it to play right here. And then what sound do I want it to play? Well, when I have this highlighted, which it's blue, that's how you know it's highlighted. Inside the details panel, yet again, as you can see here, none. This is where I'm going to pick my audio. So does he have a roar? I actually don't know what sounds he's going to have. So I guess we'll just go down and we'll look for him, and his name is Rampage. So we're going to type in Rampage to get just the Rampage ones to come up. And affectability draft, I don't really know. I was looking for emote, but there's a lot of different names here, and really I would have to go through all these and find it. We'll just click emote 20, right? So now if I hit play on this, nothing.
Yes.
at that frame is when it'll start, right? So like, so let's say I had the good roar and I wanted it to start right here where his mouth opens. I would drag this to that frame exactly. So raw, that's where you'd start the roar at, right? That looks awesome. So like, let's hit save on that. And now when I bring this animation, master roar run, into our scene, which is going to be back here, level sequencer, and I bring him in here, when it hits that point where he's going raw, that's when it'll play automatically. You just won't see it here. So just another way to bring those kind of things in. And then finally, the last thing is you want to render this out, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we're on the right one here and double check everything. Yep, that looks good. That's what we want. We want it from here all the way to there. Cool. So what we're going to do to render out is we're going to come see this little right here, this little button. I don't know what to call it, a little action sign. We're going to click on that and you're going to get this menu. It's going to come AVI. That's what we want. There's no audio, or you can do master audio. We don't have any audio on this. So whatever you want to do there. And then from there, yes, we want it compressed. Where do you want it to go? This is the most important feature. For me, I want it to go into my recording. So we're going to select that folder. Everything else should be fine. And you're going to hit capture movie. And yeah, save selected. And then it's going to render out. You're going to get a window right here, just like I am. And it's just going to start rendering it out play by play here. And luckily, this isn't a long animation, so this should go pretty quick. Okay, so that's all done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into our actual computer, wherever you saved it at. For me, I know it's going to be under recordings. So we're going to scroll down, and it is actually right here. This is mine. So you can double click it, open it up, and you can click play. And this is our video. It's right here. Very straightforward. Now, before I show you how to make it a transition, I just want to show you guys one more thing. And that is going to be, say you're like, I don't really like that, or I don't like that it's an AVI, because AVIs are pretty big files a lot of times. Although this one's only 21 megabytes, so never mind. It's not that big. But like, let's just say you want it in a different format, or you don't want to use this way. Well, there's actually another way to render out, and it's the way you're probably actually going to use if you do this a lot. And what you're going to need to do that is you're going to go up here to edit, and you're going to go to plugins right here, and you're going to type in, what is it? Movie render, right? And this right here, movie render queue, it's going to be unchecked. When you check this, the bottom left right here is going to say, do you want to restart? Simply click yes. And you know what? I'm going to do this. I can't do it that way. What I will do is I will do this. I'm just going to exit the whole program, because when you restart this, you're going to run into some issues, to be honest with you. So what we're going to do is, there it is, bring up Epic Games. We're going to launch. All right, when you relaunch, this is what's going to happen. You're back at this screen. You're like, oh no, everything's ruined. It's gone. And you click yes on this. Do you want to refeature the last thing, or reopen this? Yeah, I do want to reopen that. This all looks bad. Everything, you're just going to freak out. Don't. All right, I'm going to show you how to fix this. Nothing's broken. It's just not in this level, right? So what we're going to do is going to go content browser, go back to your pack, wherever you downloaded that or open that level at. Mine's maps, levels, night level. I'm going to open this up. Eventually, if it decides to, no big deal. And look at everything's coming back, just like my cameras are here. Everything's right here. Like, okay, but now my sequence level is gone. That's fine. It's right here, right in the content browser, right where we made it together. To go ahead and double click on that, and voila, everything is going to be back, and you're going to make it through. If you're really scared, you can click on this and just make sure, yep, it's all there again. Okay, cool. You didn't lose anything. It's just hidden. All right. So that's how you get back to that. There's a way so it opens this level automatically, but we're not going to get into that. I should have done that at the beginning. So, okay, now let's say you went and you downloaded what I just told you to download, because you want to use the other render queue to have more customability or change what it's going to render out as. So once you do that, up in this corner, yours is going to look like this, right? That's going to be a little sign. If you come over here and you make movie render queue, now when you click on this, you're going to bet with this right here, plus sign render, click on that. What are we going to render out? Well, we want our action one. That's what we're doing, right? Action one. And then it's going to give you a configuration menu here. You can come over here, configure, decide what you want it to be. So I don't want JPEGs. I'm not trying to make a bunch of pictures out of this. I'm not sure what I want. Well, default rendering, yeah, that should be okay. And if I come down here to output, like, okay, yeah, I want it at this. How many frames do I want it at? Well, I don't know, but you can, you can click on this and you can change the amount of frames you want it to render out at. For this, I'm going to leave mine at 24 for you guys. That's cool. Everything's good there. Where is it going to save to? For me, it's going to save to select folder. It's going to save to recordings. Perfect. That's where I want it to go to. Format name, however you want it to be named. I'm cool with the default name, just like that. And then we're going to accept all that. We're going to come back in here, and where is it? Sorry, I don't do it often enough to know exactly where it is. Settings. Right here. So we're actually going to want this to be an MP4 file, which is right here under settings. Click on that. And now, yes, highlight that. Quality. There we go, 20% include audio. Yep, we want it to include audio, although there's no audio on it. Cool. And then we're going to simply click render locally. And then when this is finishes, I'll get back with you guys. Okay, we're finally done with all the hard parts. And that second way is typically how you're gonna make these as you get further into it, for you can get more control over them. I know I saved it under recording, so I'm just gonna scroll down and find it. There's the first one we made, the AVI file. And this is the second one we made, the MP4 file. And just look at the size difference. This is 1.4 megabytes. This is 21 megabytes. So again, Action 1, better name. That's just how you should do it. But I wanted to show you both options. Now, the last piece of the puzzle is gonna be plugging it into our OBS. And finally, we're done. And the rest of this video will just be me turbo making the actual animation I'm going to use to show you guys this. So in order to plug it in, I went and made two like fake scenes here, scene 2 and scene 3. Currently, I have the move plugin, but we're not going to use that. What we're going to do, we're going to come to this plus sign right here, click this, and we're going to create a stinger, is what it's called. Yep, I want to make a new stinger, and I want that stinger to do from a video file. We're going to go to Browse, Video Files, Action 1, and that's it. We're going to click OK. So now when I switch from scene 2 to scene 3, it'll play that and then automatically show scene 3. Here we go. Again, there's no sound, so you're just staring at animation. If there's sound, that would play as well. And then when it finishes here, boom, we're now at scene 3. And that is it. That's the whole puzzle. The rest of this video is going to be making mine at lightning speed. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, drop them below. I know it's a little complex. I know it's a long video, but it's a lot to this stuff, and you guys are asking. So I hope you found some value in it. I hope it helped you. Subscribe if it did, and I will see you guys in the next one.